Okay, so this is just an example of showing how to use this free asset easy loading screen. Grab it whilst you can. So I got it working. Initially, the reaction is, what? Why doesn't it work? So here's the. I don't really want. Anyway, easy loading screen. You can. Should we show the example? I don't know. Right. So we're going to. There's a video. Let's see. No. Yeah, there we go. So here's the video. This is probably better. Or is it the same video? It's not in Asset Store. Right, it's all. It looks great, but of course, trying to implement it. So you bring up the example screen, and we'll give it a little run. But one of the things, the first thing you need to do, build settings, is make sure you've got some scenes in your build settings. So if I go to build settings, I've already set up A1, intro, menu, loading, game and outro. So let's show you the scenes I've made. So in scenes, create some blank projects. I'm going to save this example because I've got it to work. Right, so there's my intro scene. There's my menu scene. There's my loading screen. Oh yeah, I've been messing about with the doozy. Which is fine, but really complicated, and I want to be able to manipulate it a bit more than doozy, and distribute it without it just throwing a wobbly. So yeah, the doozy one's fine, and I've got that working, but it's not the point. The point is to get this example one working, so I can start tinkering with the code. So we've got the A1 intro, we've got a menu, we've got a loading, we've got a game, and we've got an outro. I haven't got options there because options would be another thing that comes up in one of these scenes. So the scenes intro, menu, loading, game and outro. They're all just blank projects. I just created a button, and on the button I put the title. That's all I've done with each one. So you, for example, you make the first scene a blank scene. I could do another one. Okay, let's do another one. File, new scene, and I'll say this is test. So test 1. Save. So this is a blank screen. You go right click, UI, button, and there you go. You've got a button, and in that button you can change the text and say, this is a test screen, hello world. So you can just put in intro 1 test scene 1. It's not really an intro because we've got an intro, and there's the button, and you can change the button size on the next one. So let's change that to 500 by, I don't know, 200 or 100 or 50. Yeah, 400. Okay. Then the button, you drag it up. So by creating that button, it doesn't do anything. So if we go on the button, it has a click event. No, empty. So this is all important stuff, but we'll come to later. So if I add that, this is where all the magic happens. Let's get rid of that. So there's the button. Whoop-de-doo. It's just a title. It's the best way I've found for handling text with Unity. If you do text things, it disappears and it's invisible. So just use buttons, and then you can always just not activate them. So there's our title, there's our screen. We save that file, save, and we'd save that as 1, and then we'd save it again. To save having to do that all, each time, you can either drag this out, this canvas out, call this canvas title. We could drag that and make a prefab out of it, or we can just save each scene individually. So we say file save as, intro, menu, loading, game and outro, and that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenes to mess about with as if they were real scenes. And I've got a logbook open, and I've got it visually represented here. So we've got intro, menu, loading, game, outro, and options pops in anywhere you like with an escape, but I'm not going to implement that. But that's the basic structure of the flow. We've got our intro scene where you play a movie or something, and you skip button, and then you get to the menu, and you say load game or play. You click play, and instead of going straight to the game, we're going to have a loading screen. So that means it pops to here, and that's a stepping stone. Because the game's going to take forever to load, we need a loading screen. And in the loading screen, we're going to have the progress bar. So it goes pop from menu to loading, and then it does the progress bar, and then it goes to game. And this is the key bit, really, where we're going to be putting this new asset. So go back to here. Okay, so we've got our scenes. They're important because we add them to our build file, build settings, and we've dragged them all in so they're part of the build. Intro, menu, loading, game, and outro. Close. All good so far. So what the heck is the use of example loading screen? So if we go into example loading screen, the instructions and tech doc is pitiful, but it is a free asset, and the asset itself is good, so it's worth doing. Example, double click the examples, save that's save test one, which I'll call it something I can get rid of later. So here's the example scene, and the magic is the button. I've renamed them. This was called example here, or open level. So I just called it button, so we know where the button is, and it's there. And then the prefab is here. So the instructions are: you go into prefab and you drag the prefab into your canvas. I don't think it even says that, but that's what you do. You get your loading screen all built in. Right, let's explain. Well, let's test it first, see what happens. So example loading screen, blah. And the reason it's so quick is there's nothing in the scene, and I'll show this all. I'll try and implement it into my play project, which I'm doing, which I did, which was about it's called Conspiracy Theory, and it was a game jam, and I couldn't get this done in time. So right, okay, so what we've got is it's working, which is great. So how's it working? Well, if we go into button and look at the loading screen bar system dot loading screen, so it's loading in something and it's loading screen, and we're giving it a thing of 3. That should immediately tell you that's going to scene 3, which is, and it starts at 0, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, so it's actually scene 4. So we go to the build order, file, build settings, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's that one. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we change this is on the button, we change that to 0, and then we hit play, and then do that, pip up, and it's on the intro. Excuse me, I've got a cough, a bit worrying. So excuse me. Load scene. Where are we? Example load scene. If I hit play again, what have I done? I've lost my thread for. So too busy worrying about my cough. So we got this. Loading scene. Loading to 0, that's all well and good. Where does that come from? We click on that and it comes from the loading screen. So built into the loading screen, excuse me, is this. So loading screen, example loading screen, yeah, so that's all good. So what we do in the button, on the click, we drag this loading screen there, and that accesses this function, loading screen bar system loading screen, with an int. So it passes the int, and the int is the number of the scene on the build order. So we've done all that, great. So what's the problem? So the problem is implementing this. Say if I go to my first scenes, I don't want to mess with that one. Let's do this. Save. Sure. Okay. What have we got here? Master canvas. Button. So this is, I've got this all working. I don't really want to mess with it. I need a button. Oh, okay, well, that's the A2 button. So let's make this button here. We'll call this title. And we'll call click out, or we'll call this test load. Okay, so we'll actually make this title button a test load. This, because some of these are actually, those ones are actually doozy stuff. So, okay, so we've got the test load. We go to the button. So that was the title. So in text, we change that. And we go to the button. We add a click event, and we drag. Okay, we need the easy loading screen prefab, and this is where the instructions came in. You drag that into the canvas. It's not what I need, so I'll drag it here. Like so. Then we drag, bring up the button. Okay, we've got to add the event again. We drag the loading screen there. We do game object, no, loading screen, load screen. And which one do we want to? 0, 1, 2. Let's see. So this is the, should be the menu. Is that right? A2 menu. So we go to File, Build Settings. Let's say we want to go to the outro, just to test. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the button, you send it the argument 4, so that goes to scene 4, which is actually scene 5. You add 1 because it starts at 0. So it's loading on click. We've added an event button, loading screen, and then hit play. And just right, I've got a test load, and it's not working. Why isn't it working? Let's see. Loading screen. Check the button. Check the text. Missing load screen, loading screen. Okay, well let's try that again. Let me stick that in here. Loading screen 4. So I think it's because I was messing with the prefab. It broke the script. Let's try that again. Boom! So that's how to get this script to work. Now let's try it in a bigger project. It's quite exciting, really. Okay, let's bring up. Okay, it's not here. Let's open my test project. Open project. Conspiracy 4A, and this is available on Itchy something or other. I'll put a link in the description. And although it's only the compiled one that's available, I haven't put project files up. I don't think I put project files up. Okay, so this is the load scene. I'm thinking of it now. Okay, so let's go to scenes. There we go. Intro scene. So we'll start off at the intro scene, and I've got permission to use these videos, which is very cool as part of it.
Peggy 16.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Right. And this was all done in Vegas Pro. Various free templates, and that's from an After Effects template. So we got these things. These are just standard buttons, and when I hit play, it takes me to the loading screen. And this example is, I haven't figured out how to get it to auto do it. So auto load. And this is the and that to me that's pathetic, because that was Doozy. I don't think it's Doozy's fault. I think that's to do with, and you got the game. Okay. So it goes nothing, 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 boom, done. And one of the problems is the scene is, well, it's not. If I bring up the actual game scene, it's called hacking. Scenes, hacking. It's probably do with its own folder, to be honest. Let's. Oh, I've double clicked it now. Even just loading it in the editor takes forever. So it's just a simple terrain with a few trees on. The trees, I suppose, take a while to load. But the house was the one that was recently on the asset sale. I didn't show you the house, but it's beautiful, beautiful, decrepit, derelict house on the top of a hill. I suppose I can show you it. But it's massive and it takes forever to load. So you've got this nothing, 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 100% done. But I think that's something to do with the Unity load scene system, which I'm busy digging deeper into it to try and figure out why it's doing that. But then one of the things I'm going to do it's a bit too loud. I need to figure out enviro volume settings. Yeah, that's all well and good and cool. I should have hit quit. There's no quit there. It's just the menu. Why isn't there a quit button? Should be. Anyway. It takes you to the menu, I suppose, and then you can quit from the menu. So there's a quit state. But there should be just a quit there. There is Alt 4, obviously, but people like to have buttons. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of. I mean, I would train this. I've got quite a bit of knowledge about buttons and user interface, but I try to avoid it as much as possible because it does my head in, and there's always ways to improve it, and it's just so ghastly a lot of the time. And also, it's just, it's hard enough getting everything else to work without having to worry about the user interface and buttons and making the buttons usable for people. But that's another story for another time. So it's you can't see anything because I've worked so hard to make it dark and dingy. But there's basically one terrain in the middle, and then there's like loads of terrains around the sides. And in the terrain in the middle is the hero terrain with all the trees, and in the middle of the thing is the hill. If I can find the house. This is the station. There we go. There's the Hackney station. So we zoom out, you can't see anything. And I can't figure out how to go into X-ray mode. But there's the house on the hill, with all surrounded by loads of trees, in utter darkness. It was quite hard to do the darkness, to be honest. What's this got to do with menu scenes? We're going to the intro scene. And the loading screen. Load screen scene. We've got the loading scene. How are we going to implement? So I've implemented a rather dodgy, doozy implementation of the loading bar, which was fine. And that's another video for another time. But the trouble we've got with it is it goes 0, 0, 0, 100% pop. So now we're going to try and do an easy. I don't think I've even imported it, so this is a live import. It could all go horribly wrong. So Control 9 is it? Bring up the asset store, import this project, and whilst I do this, what was it? I've forgotten what it's called now, but I've brought it up here. Easy loading screen, open in Unity. There we go. Open it. Useless. This store just takes forever to load, then it doesn't even load properly. What's wrong with you? Import. Well, that wasn't what I was. What? Import. Should I import it to my project? I don't know. Shouldn't take too long. So yeah, I was busy doing this game jam, and I realised just how long it took to make decent UI. So that should have imported it, but I was going to use the asset store, but the asset store's terrible in game. So slow. Easy main menu. Here we are. Oh no. Easy loading screen. There we go. Okay, so we've got the prefab. We drag the prefab into the standard canvas, which is this one. Loading screen. Put it at the top. Oh, okay. And we have to get into the prefab to do it, obviously. So canvas name, loading screen. So we've got the loading screen. Put it in the canvas. So the next thing to do is buttons, play game. Double click it, play. One eye in the menu scene. This is frightening me. Go back out. This is load scene. This is canvas menu. So loading. Canvas menu loading. Loading screen. Button play game. Okay, yeah, so at the moment it just loads the game using a load game script, which is just standard. Can't even remember how I did this. Alright, I wrote a bit of script that just loads in the scene. But now we need to replace that. Yeah, so it's in here on the actual play game button. I put a script, so there should be a script here. Loading one script. There we go. Right, so in loading one script, there's a very simple script, simple as I could make it. I mean, following along to this is, well, if you don't know what's going on, it is horrendous, but it will gradually make more sense. Hopefully. So, I basically public class loading, you can put integers in, which is what he's done, but this is a hard-coded in button, and it's just made one function called loadlevel loading screen 1, and it's screen.manager, or sort of screen manager dot load scene brackets quotes load scene 1, and that's hard-coded load scene 1. Rather than using all that index business 0 to 4, this is loading directly load scene 1, and this script is specifically designed purely to do that. It's called loading and it loads scene 1. And the reason I've done it this way, although it's not elegant and clever and not using integers or passing strings anywhere and not universally applicable, it does one thing: it loads scene 1. And it tells you what it does, and it's telling you repeatedly what it does, and I still forget what it does and where it is. When you start using integers and stuff, then you're adding a whole nother layer of things that can go wrong. Because if it said load scene 3, does that mean anything to you? It means, especially when it means load build order 4, and then you change your build order and it will load a different scene. So if we go back to build settings, we've got intro, menu, load, hacking, end, and load screen. I've got 2 loads. Oh yeah, DP load scene. What was that? That was my attempt to use another thing that's outdated now. And hacking is the main game. So just to reiterate what we've done so far, I've shown you what I'm using at the moment, which is this hard play game. Let's loading. There we are. Loading 1 is a script I put on the button play game. I think that's right. Well, that was the load. So when you hit play game, it takes you to the loading screen. Because the user just hits play, he doesn't want to know about loading screens. So he clicks play in the menu system, it takes him to this scene, which is the loading scene. And now I'm going to change this play game button to the new loading screen thing and see what happens. So in the button play game, there is a on click event. I'm going to drag this loading screen, which is the prefab I dragged in, and loading screen bar system, loading screen, and now I've got to figure out which builder it is. So we've got a file, build settings, and it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's scene 3. So we close that, we do scene 3, and now we will give it a go. Play. We don't use that one because that's the one tied to, I should move that down there, and I should call that doozy. We use this button here. It's not working. Oh, it is working. It just took too long. Okay. Okay. So this would... Oh, that's the other bar. Okay, so... Again, I've got a problem. Let's move... Oh, I've got many problems. But let's move the doozy... Ooh, stop. Stop. I don't know what I just did there. No, master canvas. Master canvas is doozy. So if I rename that doozy, the colours are, by the way, on the rainbow hierarchy, which I highly recommend because you can just highlight really important bits. So this is doozy, and this button is doozy. So let's put doozy on it so I can. And yeah, using doozy is a whole different kettle of fish. Auto load game doozy. And you get some very nice effects with doozy, but it takes forever to load in. It's a massive thing. It's got quite, it's incredibly complicated to get going. But once you understand it, it's cool. But even then, you can. One of the problems with UI design and all this stuff is it is literally not. Well, it's a Pandora's box. It just gets so complicated and so involved. Like, let's make it a different colour. Let's make it glow. Let's make it move. Let's make it animate. Let's add some sound. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. And you end up, it's just, maintaining all that. Let's have it in pink, and let's have it in this. A bit like web design. You have to get the person making those demands involved in the process, and then suddenly the requests stop coming. Otherwise, if you're not involved in the pain that is user interface design, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. As soon as people actually have to do it themselves, it becomes, okay, a button will do. Just a button, that'll do. Same with website design. If they're not the ones having to put the pain in, it's like, let's have 30 pages, and then when they actually have to do it themselves, it's like, let's have one with just the key information. Because of the it's partly to do with the maintenance of it all. You button load. Can I move this without it? Here we go. So I'm going to move that over there and over there. Now, hit play again. So, oh yeah, and one of the problems with Doozy is it's also, oh no. So look at that. That's all over the place, and this is too low. No, stop. Going to the wrong place. It needs to be the animated bar up. We could get rid of all that, but I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not touching it since I've got it working. Right, so that's that button needs to go. Oh, okay. I suppose really one thing I can show you is this alignment system. So really, it has to be bottom left. Let's see how that looks. And then I need to change the position. Probably off the screen now. I kept the sound in. Right, so the button's disappeared now because I was fighting the system to try and get it in the right position. So it's now in the absolute right position. So we go 0, 0. Where's it gone now? Those were the weights, not the position. Okay, let's stop that. Right, 0. And 0. Right, okay. So now we go 50, no, 100, yes. 50, yeah, that looks quite good. And that's positioning the Doozy button just so it looks, yeah. So that click would launch that system, but we're using this one over here, which is the new one using the easy load. So let's give it a go. And the reason why this is important is that it's also got an awful lot of functionality. So it's whacking in these images, which is cool, and the information about level, plus this is very cool, plus it's got a progress bar. So and there we go. Oh, okay, so the outro doesn't have an exit game, but that does. Good. So I've got to fix my outro page on this, but that's another matter. So it goes nothing, 90% done. So the next stage is to get it to do stuff below 50%, I'm going to say. Just move. So we can see, I'm even going to do it, I'm going to fake it, to be honest. It's going to slowly up like that and go slowly to 50 and then pop. Just because one of the things you learn in ergonomics is if there's no feedback, and I'll show you again, when a user gets no feedback for doing something, he just clicks again, or does something else, or hits a button, hits escape, hits Alt 4. So if he doesn't see anything happening, he can cause things to stop working. I mean, one of the reasons I put a disclaimer in the main menu scene was because I knew people would hit play, it didn't work, and that's it. Alt F4, never play this again, because it doesn't work. There you are. I've hit play. I got no feedback, no clicks, nothing. I don't know if it's working. I'm going to maybe click this, maybe click this, maybe click that. It's what I did, if you noticed, the first time we did this, because I thought it was broken. And then, and boom. And I will be doing. I'll be doing a series of tutorials. I think I'm going to do a course. I'm going to produce a course for Udemy, I think, on this stuff. But it is a bit of a horror show. So there you go. What else can I say? What have we done? We have dragged in. We've imported easy, whatever it's called. Where was it? Easy loading screen. And in the prefab, you drag that into your main UI. Where are we? Where are we? Main UI. There we are. So what I could do is make that a colour. Menu loading. Right, let's change that. Apply custom so I can find it. What colour should we give it? And again, I've created some buttons for Rainbow UI. So we do red. I tend to use red. I don't want to use red. Purple. There we go. That one I'll do. Apply. Now, yeah, there's the canvas. What should we put? We'll do loading screen. What colour should we have that as? What's his main colour in his on his thing? Maybe a green for loading screen. Rainbow. Apply. Green. These are little strips I made. And bright green. Right, so we've got the menu canvas, and then we've got loading screen, which we dragged in, and then we have a button called play game, and in the play game button we've created an event. We've added a script. Do we add a script? No. That's forget those scripts. They're not for this. In the button play game, we've added one on-click event. We drag the progress bar, not progress bar, sorry, loading screen. We drag loading screen into there, and then we choose the function load screen with an int, and then we give it the number of the scene in the build that we want to load, and that all works quite well. But it's not immediately apparent if you're not that au fait or competent or confident with buttons and UIs. And what's next? The next thing for me to do is to adjust this so that before 50% loaded it just does something, just to show that the button's actually working rather than nothing. So I'm going to do some clever coding to adjust it so that it goes smoothly up like that and then pops. So we've got the initial initial feedback from users, and that'll do for basic implementation of the easy loading screen. And I'll say it once more before I go. We import the easy loading screen from the asset store. We go to prefabs. We drag the prefab onto our normal canvas. I must have forgotten my colours. Did I not save it? I didn't save it before doing this, so it's forgotten. This is the load scene, yeah. Very far save. Save it. So dragged loading prefab from the easy loading screen prefab. So you drag that onto our main canvas. Then in our button we drag the prefab into our button click event, which we make here plus, and then we access the function loading screen, and then you give it the scene we want to load in an integer, and that is figured out from build settings 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 equals, starting at 0, 1, 2, 3 would be scenes hacking, and then off it runs. So I hope that's of use to people.